We're joined on the phone now from Kent, England, by Kent senior news reporter Joe Bill. Joe, good morning to you.
Hello.
Now, this seems to be a biblical-sized storm. How is it faring this morning?
It's much better this morning, I must say. Yesterday morning was a lot different. We woke up, say, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. when it really started to hit, and all you could see outside was things flying past your window.
I mean, this, I come originally from the States. This sounds like something in the Midlands, but in that respect, when it comes to the UK, first of all, break it down for me. How many people were affected? How many people are still without power? And I understand there has been some fatalities as well, correct?
Yes, there's roughly, a lot of people were reporting that there was about 500,000 homes without electricity at one point. So 500,000, that's a lot of people. Wow. We're not entirely sure how many of those are now still without power. I should imagine that a lot have been reconnected. Some of the things that were going on were quite surreal. Two of the bridges out of the county of Kent, where I am, were shut just in case people going across the bridge were blown off. There was reports of gusts up to 99 miles per hour. And yes, like you said, there were fatalities. There was a young girl in Kent killed when a tree fell onto the home she was living in, and she was asleep in. She was only 17. Another man from Watford in North London was killed when a tree fell onto her car. And the trees falling were the major issue. Onto train lines, stopping commuters getting into London, stopping people going to work, right. On roads, stretching the emergency services, ambulance, fire staff, all just trying to remove them from different areas. Another issue was localized flooding, because obviously we're surrounded by water. Right. There was lots of areas that people were having to, get out of their homes because water was coming in. It was quite surreal. Unbelievable.
Now, this is, it's fairly early in the year for such a storm, isn't it? Or is something, and a storm of this size at all in England, isn't it?
Yeah, October's not generally a month that's too wet or too cold. In recent years, it's been quite pleasant, really. So for it to come this early, it is been very strange.
And of major strength. Now, in that respect, does the population feel that, first of all, was the area ready for something like this? I know this is the morning after, many people still without power. How are authorities dealing with the aftermath of this storm?
Well, prior to it, we had, I must say, good warning from government officials and the Met Office, who told us that the storm was coming. So people were able to prepare across the weekend before the Monday morning storm. The batten down the hatches and all that. The aftermath, I feel the emergency services have done well to get rid of most of the trees and the issues stopping people from working. As far as the power, it's still inconclusive, should we say, as to how many people are still without power. But I don't think that it was too bad a job, really. There was good warning.
There was good warning, but in that respect right now, is there any, you're in the community of Kent, Kent was fairly hardly hit, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, it was. Yeah, like we said, we had a fatality here, which is obviously fairly rare for a tree to be killing someone. Yeah. Yeah, so it's still, we're still seeing the aftermath, and
but during the storm yesterday, for example, did people pull together? Where were you? Were you locked up in your house? Is the community getting together to try and help each other?
Yeah, everyone was speaking on the phone. A tree actually fell about 20 yards from my house, wow. So I went out to see if everything was okay. There was a number of neighbours. Fortunately, it missed a row of terraced houses by a few feet, but everyone got together and made sure everyone was okay. People were phoning each other, warning each other not to go on the trains, not to go on certain motorways, okay. To make sure
Well, that everything is okay. Right. Joe, listen, stay safe and dry, on this on the windy Isle of England.